Another great day for college basketball in Lexington, Kentucky. Over 20,000 fans at Rupp Arena ready to cheer on their Kentucky Wildcats against the Salukis of Southern Illinois. Mike Morgan, great to be with you alongside the former Tennessee Volunteer, Dane Bradshaw. And Dane, everybody's talking about what happened to this Kentucky team in Indianapolis. They don't lose by 30-plus points often. In fact, it was the worst loss in the history of Coach Calipari. It all started with the defense. They have to patch that up quickly.
The defensive breakdowns have been horrible, and they have to learn to guard the ball. That is the top priority and non-negotiable for this team if they want to be good. On the offensive side of the ball, they must establish the posts early and often, and you're looking at who to go through. The graduate transfer from Stanford, Reed Travis. My biggest problem to start the game, he did not touch the ball in the post until there was 8 minutes left in the first half and still ended up with over 20 points. Do not be surprised if there's a healthy dose of post touches to open up this game for the Kentucky Wildcats.
And don't be surprised if Southern Illinois poses some problems. This is a team from the Valley that won over 20 games a year ago. They return all 5 starters and 4 of their top 5 scorers. A lot of people think this will be an NCAA tournament team come March. They'll try to spring an upset here in November. Salukis in gray, Wildcats in white. We're underway from historic Rupp Arena. Inside it comes to Kavion Pippen, and Pippen, who is the nephew of one Scottie Pippen, the former Chicago Bull, gets off a mid-range jumper to start things here in Lexington.
Reed Travis, listen to the scouting report. It was make Pippen score over you, no angles, and Pippen showed something that he hadn't shown as much on the film.
Well, that is something Keldon Johnson did show in that loss to Duke. He certainly had one of the better performances turned in.
And I love his energy. He's vocal. The biggest thing he'll have to work on is don't have negative body language, because by the end of the year, I would not be surprised if he is the leader of this team.
I love his energy, his tenacity, incredible work ethic. And there's a push from behind, 2 hands on the lower back by Reed Travis, the grad transfer from Stanford, 2-time first-team All Pac-12, and looking to put in an All SEC performance in this his final year. Bartley back up top to Aaron Cook. Cook on a blow-by, lays it up strong, tapped around, and finally corralled by Johnson. Washington all the way. Washington, offensive foul. A little bit out of control there by the sophomore.
But that's where Keldon Johnson has to learn. You continue to bring the ball up. Don't put it in the big man's hands and let him bring it coast to coast. You take it up there, throw the lob to him. Let him be the finisher as opposed to initiating the fast break.
P.J. Washington is a player that certainly is going to be focused on a lot this year for Kentucky. Came on late last year, had a great NCAA tournament, but at times, Dane, almost as if he disappears a little bit. They need him to be more of a focal point.
I had P.J. Washington on my first team All-SEC ballot. And a big reason was when you look at the player of the year in Grant Williams, who's also the preseason player of the year out of Tennessee, nobody gave Grant Williams more problems than P.J. Washington. And if his offensive game could come along as well, now I think he could be in contention for that Player of the Year award. The problem is his motor is not 40 minutes a game. They have to keep his focus the entire game.
That's a 3 from the corner by their leading scorer, Armon Fletcher, the senior. Preseason first team All-Missouri Valley is Fletcher. Salukis have an early 5-2 lead. Pull up mid-range, too strong. And a rebound reeled in by Kavion Pippen.
Mike, on one hand, Southern Illinois is like, oh, it's the worst thing that ever could have happened to us. Kentucky's going to be alert. They're focused. They got their attention now. But I look at the other way. I look at them looking at that film like, wait a minute, Kentucky's Schumann. We can score on these guys. I think they've got some offensive confidence before the game even tipped off, and it's showing right now.
Tough shot by Pippen and a double team. Kavion Pippen with 4 early points.
Coach Cal talked about they have to stop the bleeding. I'm not saying it's emergency time, but where do you go when you need a bucket?
And a late whistle on a reach-in foul by Fletcher. Well, Coach Calipari, we've been here in Lexington a couple of days now. A very spirited practice yesterday after the loss against Duke, and then at shoot-around today, more of the same. We had a chance to catch up with him. He said, look, it all starts defensively. We have got to amp it up defensively. The other thing he's always big on is rebounding. He talks about rebound attempts. He thought some of his guys didn't go after enough rebounds the way they should.
Well, and that goes back to him being really upset and frustrated that the Wildcats didn't play with a chip on their shoulder, show more fight like his team's identity typically is.
Johnson off the mark, out of bounds. Kentucky will get it back. That is Barry Hinson. They call him the Dean of the Valley because he's been coaching in the Missouri Valley Conference now for 16 years. First at Missouri State, now in his 7th year at Southern Illinois, and he believes he's got his best team since taking over the job in Carbondale.
They're old, they're experienced, they're talented, but more importantly this year they're healthy.
Johnson trying an alley-oop pass. Nick Richards was not looking for it. Lloyd dribbling up top. Hounded by Johnson. They work it around over to Aaron Cook. High ball screen. Cook on a blow by. Inside. Pippen again. Wheels. Deals. Missed that one.
Yeah, he had Bartley wide open on the perimeter for a wide open 3.
Pull-up jumper on the way, and that is one of the talented point guards. They've got 3 on the roster. The freshman Emmanuel Quickly.
And Quickly got the nod tonight ahead of Hagans, and it wasn't much that Hagans did wrong. It's just Coach Cal trying to figure out which lineups, which rotations work best, and Quickly gets the opportunity to start tonight.
Strong take off the glass, no, and there's Washington to reel it in. Off and running Kentucky all the way. Quade Green wanted the foul, and he will get one. A whistle blown by Tony Green. And the foul on Bartley. So 2 free throws upcoming for Quade Green, sophomore out of Philadelphia. Last year, a lot of pressure on this young man. You lose De'Aaron Fox to the NBA, who's already lighting it up at that level. And Quade Green was hoping to pick up the slack. It wound up being Gilgeous-Alexander who really was their best point guard. And now Quade really is more of an off guard, Dave.
Yeah, and this time last year, nobody saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander becoming who he was. You know, I mean, so we've been in this position before with the Kentucky Wildcats where, as Coach Cal put it, he had to play point guard at the beginning of the season, orchestrating the team, telling them where to go. And that's kind of the situation they are in now. Quade Green, more natural off the ball. But if Quickly and Hagans can't get things going offensively for this team, don't be surprised if Green plays a little bit of one.
Coming up on our first media timeout. Alley-oop pass. Well-designed play. The throw to Bowl just a little bit high, and then a turnover on Kentucky. Numbers for the Salukis. Down low, it's Bowl. Into the corner, a 3 on the way. Got it. Nothing but nylon for Aaron Cook, the junior. I don't think it's too early to bring this up again. This is not your typical mid-major lopsided matchup. Southern Illinois is a very dangerous team.
And well-coached team that feels like they can come in here and compete with the best of them. They're well prepared. And again, you've got yourself in a position now where you've got a Kentucky Wildcat team coming off of that loss. They're losing confidence. And when the Salukis can pass it in down low, the nephew of Scottie Pippen showing some post moves, Kavion.
Against the Kentucky Wildcats, 10-5 our score. Beautiful downtown Lexington where it has gotten chilly in a hurry. Kentucky looking to get on the win column after a tough loss in the opener. Don't forget, coming up next, one team that already has a win, an impressive one at that, the Auburn Tigers. We'll take you to the Auburn Arena. Number 25, Washington battling the number 11 Auburn Tigers right here on the SEC Network. Dane, I had Auburn just the other night. That was without Wiley. That was without Purifoy. They still won the game by about 50. And I'm here to tell you, that is the most talented Auburn team that I've seen since the late 90s Cliff Ellis teams of Chris Porter and Njai and Doc Robinson. They are loaded.
And the Bruce Pearl teams that have the most success are filled with a roster that fit his style the most. And a lot of times it's the undersized guards that are quick, crafty, can pull it from anywhere. And Jared Harper and Bryce Brown are just phenomenal for that Auburn Tiger team, and especially in that system.
It's a team that doesn't seem to have a weakness personnel-wise.
Oh, cheap foul on Reed Travis. That's 2. A little bit of a wrong place, wrong time, but not much of a bump.
Coach Calipari not wasting any time going to the bench, and he will bring in P.J. Washington. So Travis will get some pine time here in the early going with those 2 fouls. Ashton Hagans, freshman who originally committed to the University of Georgia, also checks in number 2. He had to reclassify. Would have been a senior in high school this year.
Marcus Bartley taking it out. Better be prepared because Hagans will get in your grill and strip you. You better protect the basketball as a ball handler.
Cook hounded up top by Quade Green. To their leading scorer, that's Fletcher. And Fletcher drills a three. Armand Fletcher, preseason All-Missouri Valley.
The Salukis came to play.
Yes.
I mean, they've had some exhibition games, but no real game. This is their first game of the year, and there is absolutely no rust on this veteran-led team.
Well coached, as you mentioned, by Barry Hinson. And there's a lot to say about returning 5 starters in this day and age of college basketball. Loose ball picked up by Teague Bowl.
Not bad shot by Nick Richards, just too far away. He's got to get a deeper post position to be in the 2 to 3 foot range as opposed to a 4 to 6 foot jump hook.
Eric McGill into the game for Southern Illinois. Finds Fletcher again. Richard brings in the rebound. Hagans weaving in the front court, almost lost the handle.
Didn't look like much, but a nice job by Keldon Johnson. Get the offense going. In that Duke game, they're all trying to bring the team back themselves. Be more patient.
Washington dribbled it off his leg. Salukis 3-on-2. And a shot rattles out. Scooped up by Johnson. Now Johnson lost it. Kentucky's got a case of the Butterfingers here early on. Just unforced turnovers.
Keldon Johnson loses the ball, but I saw something different on that possession. I know the outcome wasn't good. Who was the first person to sprint back and get that rebound? Keldon Johnson was the furthest underneath his own goal, and he got back in transition. They all need to have that type of fight.
Shot clock down to 6. Cook. And a hand check foul on Ashton Hagans.
2 hands on him. They're going to call it all day. And Aaron Cook out of St. Louis, Missouri, the junior. Coach Hinton said has really been coming into his own, understanding the game. The things you hear Kentucky talk about, the freshman still learning how to play, how to initiate the offense is what the advantage somebody like Cook has in his 3rd year. Flirted with a triple-double in an exhibition game, so playing with a ton of confidence.
This is the first meeting between these two schools. Southern Illinois 9-22 all-time versus the SEC. Cook to Pippen, and back to Cook on the return with 7 to shoot. That's a force right there, and it does not go, and there's Richards top floor for the rebound. Ahead of the pack, and an and one for Immanuel Quickley.
It all starts with corralling that defensive rebound, getting it up high, pass, pass. Look how quickly, less than 3 seconds, they get the ball up the court. That's how they can make teams pay. All starts with Nick Richards getting that key defensive rebound, sky and high, getting the outlet pass out fast.
Immanuel Quickley, talented young freshman, really a lovable young man. His father's a minister. He's incredibly gifted in the way of music, plays the drums, the saxophone, plays in his church choir. Young man that has a lot going on for him besides basketball. Oh, and he's a great player at Fortnite as well.
He's going to have to be the orchestrator for this team if he's going to lead them at point as well. 37-inch vertical on that young man.
What was the vert on Dane Bradshaw again?
You know, they didn't have the sticks back then. I'm sure it was somewhere 37, 38.
I understand. Right wing 3 on the way. Too strong. 3 white jerseys surrounding the basketball on the rebound. That was Richards. Hero angles it in down low. Another turnover on Kentucky.
And it's frustrating because they're really close. You get another good rebound, a kick ahead. They're sharing the ball well, dumping it into the post. They just got to tighten up.
And has 7 turnovers on the Wildcats. Pippen facing up, draws a double, fires it anyway. And flying in, offensive rebound for the Salukis. It's Stradniks.
When Stradniks comes in the game, that's the one thing you have to make sure. Keep him off the glass. That's what he does.
Good take by Aaron Cook off the window and in. Southern Illinois up by 7. We've seen this before, Dane, from Kentucky teams, particularly the younger ones that are still kind of finding their way this time of year. But this is a team that has 3 sophomores and a grad transfer.
Well, I think one of the things that can hurt is where's the leadership come from? It's not natural for P.J. Washington. Reed Travis is a graduate transfer. He has the experience, but he's a smart enough guy. He doesn't want to come in and just be the new sheriff in town and take over and all that. So I think within time, he's going to be one of those guys that can be the vocal leader on this team. And with Keldon Johnson maturing him as well, but just, I mean, what do you do if you're the coach? Don't let the ball fall out of your hands.
8 turnovers and a whole lot of them unforced for Kentucky. 5-point lead for the Salukis, despite the freshman Montgomery showing some range. Southern Illinois up by 5. We mentioned the proud tradition of Southern Illinois. A number of big names have come through, but none bigger than Walt Frazier. Yes, that Walt Frazier, the Hall of Famer, went on to great success with the New York Knicks, the number 5 overall pick. So he was on that 1967 team. That 67 team beat one Wes Unseld and Louisville. I know Kentucky fans don't mind hearing that story. Louisville was ranked number 2 at the time. That was a 53-50 final. That is the highest ranked team that Southern Illinois has ever defeated. Kentucky, as it stands right now, is number 2. They have a chance to tie that mark. By the way, they only had one opportunity to play the number 1 team in America. They played Indiana State in 1979 when a guy by the name of Larry Joe Bird was starring for the Sycamores, and needless to say, that didn't turn out well for Southern Illinois.
The Mike Morgan Encyclopedia of Hoops. I love it, man.
I had a lot of free time.
We didn't go over this in rehearsal or anything. I'm engaged.
I try to bring some nuggets, Dane.
Nice,
you know that. Here's a nugget Kentucky fans will not appreciate. 8 turnovers in 15 possessions.
Yeah. One of the goals for this Kentucky team was to work to force more turnovers, something they hadn't been able to do during the summer exhibition, and certainly not against Duke when they lost the turnover battle 15-4, and here they are with a 1-to-8 ratio in favor of the Salukis.
11 of those points turned in by the Salukis coming off the turnovers. Great backdoor cut, and then a great rejection that time by E.J. Montgomery, the 6'10 freshman.
Great set right out of the timeout by Coach Henson.
There's another turnover on Kentucky. And the Salukis give it right back. Pinball action. Out of bounds to Southern Illinois.
You know, Mike, you got to wonder, as sloppy as Kentucky is right now, if they're trying so hard to share the ball with one another and looking for their teammates, as opposed to the last game where it was me, me, me. And now they're trying to do the right thing, and they're looking for each other. But there's got to be a balance there, and of course valuing the basketball a little bit more than they're doing now.
Offensive foul on the Salukis. Somehow Kavion Pippen became wide open on a backdoor cut. I have a feeling that might have been because Sean Lloyd helped him out on the screen. First foul on the senior Sean Lloyd. 14 fouls each way. Hero has been quiet.
Washington's got to keep working. When they take it away, there you go. That's it.
And that almost indefensible P.J. Washington on the block. We thought we'd see more paint touches. There is a rejection. Wow. After a great steal and take by Quickly. But going back to Kentucky's offense, wouldn't you like to see more paint touches?
Absolutely, but it's also on the post. I mean, P.J. Washington eventually got the ball there, but the first couple post-ups, as soon as somebody fronted him, he gave up. If he keeps fighting, he'll get that post feed.
This is Johnson inside. Washington fouled before the shot. And Lloyd just picked up his second.
I can tell you from experience, Mike, when there were times as a 4-man at Tennessee when I had to guard taller players, it can bother a guy like P.J. Washington. They'd rather go up against somebody that's their size, their height, that's staying behind them. You get a pesky mid-major type talent like I was that can go around you. It's harder to post up. Here's P.J. Washington. Look, he's going to give up on it, but don't give up. There you go. Repost, and they'll find you. Stay physical and demand the basketball. And P.J. Washington can be a first-team All-SEC player.
And that's what they're hoping he will become. And this is sophomore campaign. Richards back into the game for Kentucky, spelling the freshman E.J. Montgomery. Kentucky has size, as they normally do. What they really lacked last year was perimeter shooting. They only attempted 5 threes a game. They were dead last in the league in three-pointers made. And the scouting report was rather simple. Pack it in and let them shoot. This year they should be able to break some of those type of defenses.
They've got shooters out there, and Hero's somebody whose name we haven't said yet. And he's their best shooter on the team. The challenge is he's got to find ways to get himself open and prepared to shoot the basketball. And so far, Southern Illinois doing a nice job of taking that away.
I believe we had a 3-second violation. Pippen just pitched a tent in the lane and stayed there for a good 5 seconds.
And also in the game with him is Teak Bowl, a guy that Pippen used to back up. Bowl has not played in 18 months, coming off knee surgery. And this is why Southern Illinois is so dangerous, because they return all starters, but it's almost 6 starters, because they get a starter from the previous year to come back as well. And the experience certainly showing, and more than just the experience, I know it goes hand in hand, but the cohesion, the chemistry is so apparent that the Salukis have right now.
Dane, you and I have seen a lot of Kentucky games. We've been here a number of times. It's 11 turnovers. We're just over 10 minutes into the action. I don't know if I've ever seen that from a Cal team, particularly in a mid-major matchup.
Well, it's not just one guy, but that might be a situation where you're trying to do different things. You don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction, but do you try to calm the storm a little bit? Let Quade Green run the show at point. It's not that Quickly or Hagans are doing a bad job. You're just trying to find the right buttons to push and get this offense clicking.
Tyler Hero picks up his first foul. You think of the point guards they've had in recent times, Tyler Ulis, De'Aaron Fox. And they've had some great floor generals. And I'm not sure.
It's the most valued position in Coach Kyle's.
Oh, no question. No question. Somebody has to step up in that spot for this team to get to where everybody hopes they will, which is another Final Four. Shot clock at 5. Tapped around. And out of bounds to Kentucky.
When the crowd is needing some life, that's what I love about Keldon Johnson. It's not like he's having the game of his life, but he gets a deflection, they get the turnover, he knows they need energy, and who's the one screaming and getting the crowd into it? It's number 3, the freshman.
This crowd is certainly waiting for something to cheer about.
Well, and there's Quade Green coming at point. As I mentioned, almost an errant pass, but fortunately got the hold down low on Richards as he tried to get the alley-oop.
So a 1-and-1 7-team foul. Kentucky in the bonus here with 8:33 to go first half. Nick Richards, one of the better rim protectors in the SEC. That's right off the bat. That just comes with the territory. That's kind of the given with this young man. The question is, will his offensive game evolve a little bit this year?
Well, and it's got to be able to translate to the best competition. He had certainly plenty of nice moments in the exhibition game, but can he get the deep post position? Can he finish amongst the best? A unique 5 in here for Kentucky. Let's keep an eye on this plus minus. 15-13. Let's see what happens in the point situation. Quade Green running the show.
Baseline drive off to Pippen. Wild shot off the window, no good. Pippen then steals it from Richards. Nice little pass, and the bucket is good for McGill.
Pippen's an active guy. He's agile, fast, quick. Interesting thing is he emerged in large part due to Teak Bowles' injury. Number 40 in gray. When Bowl was out, it was Pippen that emerged. He would have been a 10-minute-a-game guy playing backup, but he had to play more minutes due to injury, and he has been all over the place, as are the Salukis, all over the Wildcats early.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, the SEC Nation traveling pregame show with Laura, Marcus, Paul, Tim, and Lauren will be in Fayetteville for number 7 LSU and Arkansas. They'll break down everything from the gridiron to the grill for Week 11 of the college football season. SEC Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. We talked about the defensive woes in that game against Duke, and we've seen some breakdowns here today.
Yeah, Mike, and they're really simple. This is a play trying to get some minimum before the half. They get caught on a simple handoff and freeze it right there. Look, 2 defenders stepping up at once. He could throw the lob or the open 3. Go ahead and let it roll. He chooses to get the lob. But it should be hard to get an open shot, much less 2 to 3 open looks in one possession. The good news is, that's an easy fix. That is a simple guard the ball. Do not let a guy get in the paint after one simple handoff.
Right.
The concerning part is it's continued to happen over and over again. They've locked in a little bit better with their perimeter defense against the Salukis. It's more been about self-inflicted wounds tonight in the turnover department.
And unlike the game against Duke, where the offense clicked pretty well, it certainly wasn't flawless, but they were able to score a lot of points. Here we're sitting at the 7:48 mark, and Kentucky sitting on 13 points, 11 turnovers, and 23 possessions. The offense has been out of sync thus far. Keldon Johnson, he's been in sync since the moment he stepped on campus here in Lexington, freshman out of Oak Hill Academy. I love the one little nugget on him to give you an idea of just how hard he plays, how much effort he gives. You've seen a McDonald's All-American game. Defense is very optional in a game like that. He actually took a charge and had a couple of steals in that game this year.
He is a competitor. He never wants to lose. I would much rather have somebody on my team that I have to pull back the reins and say, hey, calm down, as opposed to telling somebody, hey, get into it. You will not have that problem with Keldon Johnson.
That'll be a goaltend on Nick Richards. Good
again,
take
that's
by
early in the shot clock. Bartley, not an explosive athlete by any means, a good player, and he just drives it straight to the right.
Washington with a strong take, and Richards is there for the tip-in. 2-point game.
Well, these are all learning experiences, and another bit of adversity the Wildcats are having is, don't forget, Reed Travis picked up 2 fouls early in this half, so they have not had him for several minutes now, and other guys like Richards are having to step up.
Offensive foul. Aaron Cook trying to drive and dish, but when he drove, he ran into the defender. This has got to be awfully frustrating for Reed Travis, like you mentioned, still sitting with those 2 fouls. He hasn't been able to do much today. We haven't seen a whole lot of Tyler Hero, who had a tremendous exhibition season going back to the Bahamas and some of the early games. Showed out in the blue-white game, and they need him as Green has it blocked. Bowl wrapped up inside, and the arrow goes to Kentucky.
Yeah. And Mike, it's really easy to assume the team's not playing hard when they're just playing bad. I don't see Kentucky not playing hard. They're just playing poorly right now. I mean, I think there has been some effort, and they're getting in there. They're trying. The attitudes seem to be positive. They just can't get into a rhythm at all right now.
Well, and you and I have the benefit of watching these guys in practice. I mean, they busted. This is not a group of individuals who don't give max effort. Sometimes max effort doesn't always yield great results, and they're still working on things.
And the tough part is it's hard to hold teammates accountable when you're still trying to figure yourself out. And that happens quite a bit as we see yet another turnover by Hagans.
Another unforced turnover, just happy feet on a dribble drive attempt. 13 turnovers, 17 points for Kentucky. That is not a ratio that'll please Coach Calipari. Southern Illinois runs a lot of high-low, a lot of back picks. Very well coached. There's a pick and roll. Pass was a little late, but they finally get it there. Shot blocked though. Washington cradles the rebound. Ahead to Quade Green. 3-on-2, and there's the finish. Johnson.
So Richards has done that twice. He has erased 4 points off the board for Southern Illinois with his help side defense smacking against the glass.
Timeout, Barry Hinson of Southern Illinois, and the crowd finally gets into this thing. Something to cheer about here at Rupp Arena.
Well, they get the angle down low, and it looks like an easy layup until Richards swipes it away. Good advanced pass, and that's exactly what you want. Ball handler in the middle of the court. Your best athlete running the wing. Keldon Johnson, more times than not, will flush that home at the rim. That time, nice finish off the glass.
Doubleheader tonight. Don't forget, second end of the Twin Bill will be a top 25 matchup between the Auburn Tigers and the 25th ranked Washington Huskies of the Pac-12. That'll be at the Auburn Arena. They'll recap that matchup as well as this one tonight at 11:30 on SEC Now.
Quade Green trying to take the ball out, trying to trick the ref and get a make up for some of those turnovers they had.
That's a Dane Bradshaw type move right there. You were the.
That's why I pointed it out so quick.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this looks familiar.
You were very familiar with unethical violations on the court.
I just had a lot to make up for.
Under 6 minutes to go. Salukis bleeding some clock. Shot clock under 5. Beautiful pass into the corner, but an illegal screen will nullify the 3. Illegal screen that time on Stradniks, the native of Latvia.
And I tell you, that's a tough break because I thought Stradniks was pretty solid there. Quade Green ran into a brick wall, and I thought the reaction and fall of Quade Green is what caused the whistle to blow.
Very well designed play to set up a skip pass into a corner for an open 3. Johnson dribbling up top, finds Green. Now Hagens, the freshman. Back to Quade. Quade on a 3. That's what they want to see more of from Quade Green, and that is the first lead for Kentucky.
And they've been close to getting that type of possession. It's just within 2 seconds before the final pass, they've been turning it over.
7-0 run for the Wildcats. And a foul down low on Washington trying to defend the entry pass to Fletcher.
Armon Fletcher, a really talented scorer for the Salukis. Their leading scorer coming off last season. He's not going to do anything too flashy, but he can make threes. He can make mid-range game. And I think one of the biggest areas where he creates an advantage is he can post up as he did P.J. Washington. And there's Richards, the 3rd time we've seen him come over.
Another block by the big man, Nick Richards, 6'11" sophomore out of Jamaica.
And we have not seen in the past year or so Kentucky having that elite rim protector. When you have a rim protector, obviously it makes you a better team defensively, but as a guard on the perimeter, you attack more confidently, and you're sitting there and you are hounding that opponent knowing that your big man has your back in case you get beat.
2 free throws upcoming. And as Kentucky in the double bonus, Johnson misfires on the first. Keldon Johnson out of Southville, Virginia, Oak Hill Academy, one of the powerhouse high school programs in the country. Highest ranked player on the ESPN Top 100, manned by our own Paul Biancardi. Top 10 recruit. And Paul said something that caught my ear. He's seen a lot of kids come out of that program. He says he's the hardest working player I've ever seen at Oak Hill, and that was also from their head coach over there who knows a thing or two about the personnel.
Well, that is saying something. Oak Hill has had some talent in there. When you can blend talent with work ethic, now you've got something special.
Legendary coach Steve Smith over there at Oak Hill with some very high praise for that man, Keldon Johnson, and they're going to rely on Keldon Johnson a lot. Still trying to find out who the alpha dogs are on this team. We all know Kentucky is chock full of talent, Dane, but I mean, who's the guy that's going to take over games? You know, a couple years ago, you had Malik Monk, who at any night could give you 30 to 40. I don't know if I see that player this year for the Wildcats.
Well, right now, Cal's just trying to find who are the 5 guys that are going to fight the hardest. And forget the takeover guy. There won't be anything to take over. The game will be out if you can't get 5 guys to fight. And he's been quiet, but Hero's a winner now. I mean, he got benched at halftime, pulled out of the starting lineup, responded with 8 rebounds in the second half. He's very coachable. he's going to be a guy I think Kentucky fans can rely on, despite not getting into a rhythm early on in this game.
Richards can't hit from close range. As we come up on the 4-minute mark of half number 1. Kentucky up by 4. Inside, it's Pippen, bellied up by Richards. Pippen with that lightning quick kind of half hook shot.
Well, there you go, Pippen, because they have not gone back to him since the early parts of this game. So Salukie's doing the right thing, getting him reestablished, but he has shown a much better one-on-one game in the post than I've seen on tape. Usually it's all on angles and easy layups.
Hard collision, bodies falling. Armand Fletcher colliding inside, and that is Montgomery, the freshman. Both players falling on their backs. Always a scary moment on the hardwood. No foul on the play as we take a timeout and step aside. 3:36 to go. It's Kentucky 23 and Southern Illinois 21. Guys, appreciate it much. Certainly can't argue with the logic there. Get it inside. Kentucky's got some bigs with some good size. You're looking at Armand Fletcher. This is a scary moment. It looked like he could have gotten hurt in 2 different areas on this play. First the shoulder and then the knee. Fortunately, he was able to walk off on his own power.
Had I not known that he already walked off, you showed that to me, I'd say he's not getting up. I mean, and for Southern Illinois, certainly hope he's okay, can be 100%, because that was a big reason they couldn't reach their preseason expectations last year, was the injury bug.
They had a ton of injuries. They finished the year with 7 players. And this year, Southern Illinois has a lot of depth, which is why a lot of people believe they could actually win the Missouri Valley Conference. Remember, no more Wichita State in the Valley, so it's opened things up a little bit for some other teams.
We had a team from the Valley last year at Gainesville.
Yes.
Came with a nice upset, a team by the name of Loyola Chicago. And we said, you know, these guys are pretty good. They just came in here and beat an SEC team.
I don't know about you. I predicted right after that game they were going to the Final Four.
They got that big man Cameron Krutwig in the middle, that point center. I loved his game. I did not think he'd be starting in a Final Four game.
And much like
big
this,
things can happen from the Valley, that's for sure.
No question. And much like Barry Hinson, they're well coached. You got a well coached team with some veteran players. You can go a long way in March. Kentucky up by 4. Tough shot. Wow. In traffic, a runner by Aaron Cook.
Just taking the contact off the glass. And one nugget on the Missouri Valley, I'm sure all Kentucky fans know. Walter McCarty come to his hometown to be the head coach of Evansville. They had a rough first game start like the Wildcats as well. He's in a little bit more of a rebuilding mode than these Wildcats.
What a fun player he was to watch in Lexington later in the NBA. Open jumper off the mark.
Nice
rebound inside. Somehow missed and then scooped up by Hero. Pull-up jumper. Bounces out. Tapped around and finally reeled in by Bull.
Got your big man 2 feet away and your best shooter wide open 10 feet away. Gotta think you come away with some points.
Southern Illinois happy to be hanging around here. A 1-point game. 2.5 to play first half. Deep 3, nothing but nylon for Marcus Bartley. Southern Illinois back on top.
This is where Hero has to get better, getting open on the perimeter. He had to go all the way out to the UK label to get that. That's not where you want to initiate the first pass.
Green turns it over.
And that's not his game, getting all the way lane. His is 2 dribble pull up.
Another open 3. This time kicks off the iron into the hands of Hero. And Johnson says timeout. Coach Cal wants to talk things over. They use it or lose it with a $1:46 to play.
The Saluki team believes, that's for sure. And if they thought that they were going to catch the best of Kentucky due to the Duke loss, it's just the opposite. Southern Illinois has come in with a ton of confidence, playing with great cohesion.
Dane, this game is so good, I'm going to mention it again in a short span of time. Washington, Auburn, tonight. I promise you, Auburn Arena. It's coming up next. Pac-12, SEC. Bruce Pearl, his best team by far in his time at Auburn. A lot of people think the Tigers can go a long way. In fact, Same reporter that had him, remember last year, they used that motivation. A national reporter picked Auburn to finish it at the bottom of the SEC. Well, now that same guy picked them to go to the Final Four, and Jared Harper is a big reason why.
There are some talented guards in this league, and I don't know if there's anyone better than Jared Harper. I mean, you talk about a guy that keeps you on your heels the entire game. He may cross you over and pull up from 35. He may blow by you. He is certainly the general of that offense, and it helps when you got Bryce Brown on your wing. Big man Austin Wiley down low. Purefoy will be back.
This might not be a fair comparison, but I'll tell you who Harper reminds me of. A guy they had here a couple of years ago in Tyler Ulis. Both about the same size, both with good range on the jump shot, and neither one of them made many mistakes. That's not a mistake whenever Nick Richards gets a chance to get a slam dunk follow.
Well, one of the most underappreciated aspects of Tyler Ulis' game, I think Jared Harper too, is the ability to lock you up full court. Don't forget, Ulis was SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Remember Stephen Moody at Ole Miss?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hardly anybody could stop that guy. Ulis was the one guy that could match up with Moody.
Great ball movement by the Salukis. In the trees, the little dish off, the shot missed by Bowl. Here comes Kentucky, quickly all the way to the left hand. Three on the way. Front iron. Offensive rebound, Pippen. Pippen is going to be a force this year in the Valley.
Well, Kelton Johnson's got to get that backside rebound quickly. Came all the way over for the help and then sprinted back to contest the three. Got to finish the possession.
The nephew of Scottie Pippen, a little taller than the Hall of Famer. Kavion goes 6'10", 245. Four-second differential. Game clock to shot clock. Higgins finds Montgomery. The stretch four rattles out. Richards is there, and he's fouled with 2.6 on the clock.
Richards has been a beast on the glass. Got the tip dunk, affecting the game as a rim protector. Richards just staying active, being around the glass. But that's the thing. If you can get the ball inside shots lead to inside rebounds, and Kentucky can take advantage of that with their size.
Second foul on Pippen, by the way. For Kentucky, year in and year out, if they're not leading the league in rebounding, they're right up there. Usually the tallest, the longest, the biggest, and the deepest when it comes to the SEC. Although that gap is starting to narrow because you've got so many teams right now in a loaded SEC that not only have great guards, but have great bigs as well.
Oh, unbelievable. If you haven't checked out Naz Reid yet for LSU, that kid is an absolute beast down low, as well as Emmett Williams. They'll be playing Memphis on the SEC Network next Tuesday. Shameless self-promotion for myself. I'll have that game. Tune in because of the game, not because of me, but it should be a good one. Penny Hardaway making his debut against the SEC after a win against Tennessee Tech.
Shot would have counted if it went. It does not. And Kentucky will take a 3-point lead at the half. Nick Richards leading the way with 12 rebounds in half number one. 31-28 your halftime score. Let's send you to studio with Dari Nowkhah.
All right, guys, thank you much. Mike and Dana.
Getting all they can handle from the Salukis of the Missouri Valley Conference. 31-28 our halftime score. Mike Morgan, Dane Bradshaw back with you here in Lexington Rupp Arena. And Dane, a lot of things that Kentucky did well in that first half, but really they were snake bit by a couple of things. Turnovers, and quite frankly, it never seemed like they got into a flow offensively.
They tried to move the ball a little bit better and not play one-on-one, but as a result, they were sloppy with the ball, they were mishandling it, and that was the biggest key to Southern Illinois staying in this ball game. It was every position across the board, whether it be sloppy ball handling in the post, miscommunication on penetrate pitch, and to make matters worse, Reed Travis got his second foul early in this game, but Nick Richards was ready to step up and answer the call. And it wasn't just on the tip in crashing the glass. What he did most impressive was stop and erase points on the defensive end, led to fast breaks. this is a big reason why he's just 3 rebounds off of his career high, already totaled 12 in the first half.
Nick Richards really stealing the show in so many ways for Kentucky. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Just 1 3-pointer. We talked about that 3-point stat from a year ago. This is a better shooting team that you'd like to think would be able to be more assertive behind the arc.
Well, and the game plan is to throw the ball in down low. And I thought early on in this game, they had a couple good possessions with Keldon Johnson where they threw it inside to Reed, kicked it back out. And that's what they want to do. They just turn it over so many times. You can never get any type of fluid offense. But I'd be surprised if they take a bunch of threes in the second half because they're having success down low and getting to the foul line.
One guy, if they are going to hit some threes, that would certainly fire him away, is Tyler Hero. He did not shoot a single one in the first half. He's on the floor again for the starting 5 in white. 3-point game. Salukis showing a lot of poise in the first 20 minutes, including this man, Pippen. Offensive rebound. Another rejection by Richards, but a foul before the shot.
Nick Richards gets the nod, rightfully so, first performance in the first half, and with P.J. Washington picking up his 3rd, you're seeing Reed Travis come to the scorer's table.
And they will call that on the shot. So a 2-shot foul. Washington 3 fouls. Reed Travis got in foul trouble in the first half. Played sparingly. Speaking of Mr. Travis, he will enter the game here with those 2 fouls. Reed Travis, who played 4 years at Stanford, 2 seasons under Johnny Dawkins, 2 seasons under Jared Haas, former Kansas Jayhawk. Free throw makes it a 1-point game. Richards hands off to Quickly. Quickly getting the start tonight at point guard. Inside, it's Travis. Takes it strong, and he'll draw a foul. Sean Lloyd went for the block and commits the foul.
Nice execution. Reed Travis established post position, and credit to Hero for getting the right angle, throwing the good entry pass.
First grad transfer for Coach Cal, and you got a lot of maturity with this young man coming in. Incredibly bright, very talented. Twice all Pac-12 at Stanford. Decides to play his college ball at Kentucky on top of everything else going for Reed Travis. Got great taste in television programs. A big fan of Seinfeld and The Office.
Right up your alley, Mike.
Absolutely. 2-point lead for Kentucky. Around the ball screen. A lot of movement for Southern Illinois, but still hadn't found a good look. Now under 10 to shoot. Inside Pippen. Defense collapses, sets up an open 3. And there is Pippen to clean up the garbage and lay it in.
Pippen's just a hard guy to find. He stays active. He's agile. You got to keep a body on him. Richards did a good job in the possession, but then it became a loose ball drill for the tip. Lost sight of him.
Wiry term I would use to describe him. Just kind of slithers in there on those rebounds. Kentucky setting up shop now with 7 on the shot clock. Travis, power dribble, pivot, fire with the left, off the mark. Good move, everything but the finish. Salukis the other way, and a block foul. Strong take by Sean Lloyd. And he draws a whistle, and the foul will be on Quickly.
This is about as sloppy as you could see out of Kentucky. Yeah, they get what they want. I mean, they practice that and shoot around, and yesterday it's entry pass to the high post, and Travis has the option to hand it off or take it one-on-one. Makes the correct read, and just can't finish at the basket.
Sean Lloyd, a senior who actually played against Quade Green back in his hometown of Philadelphia.
I know I asked him, I said, did you lock Quade up? Well, what was the story? You're a defensive stopper, you're all defensive team in the MVC, and he said, no, man, I never guarded his position, so he let Quade off the hook, or maybe the other way around.
Maybe the other way around, yeah. th free throw of the game for Southern Illinois, and it's good. And the Salukis back on top, 2-point advantage. Johnson up top, finds Hero. Inside Richards, he's been the man. They collapse. There's the three. That's what I thought we'd see more of, but Hero doesn't hit. And whistle down low on the floor. Inside out game, Dane Bradshaw worked to perfection, everything but the bucket.
Well, there's willing passers within the Kentucky big men. It is not like some teams where it's just a black hole. You throw it in there, you're not going to get rewarded being able to relocate on the perimeter. Good possession there. I will say, as much emphasis as there is to get it down in the post, you know, I feel like Keldon Johnson's getting left out a little bit. I mean, he's kind of your momentum guy, playmaker. Set something up for him to be in attack mode. Get to the basket.
Meanwhile, the leading scorer for Southern Illinois, Armand Fletcher, just went to the bench with 4 fouls. Skip pass, Hero open again. And again misses. Richards on his way to a career high in rebounds, but he can't hit the shot. Kentucky has found themselves in a battle with the Salukis. Pippen, he has perfected that little hook shot. He continues to perform. Southern Illinois up by 4. Pippen has 12 points now to go along with 5 rebounds. Bartley picks up his 3rd for Southern Illinois.
And the Kentucky players on the perimeter are going to have to cut and move as soon as that ball goes into the post. The Salukis are committed to double teaming here in the second half, and that should open up cutters to the basket.
Quickly surveys, sees 3 great jerseys, finds Hero. Hero on a blow-by. No. Richards, yes. Boy, where would they be tonight without Nick Richards?
Well, it's one of those cases where their best offense has been a missed inside shot. They're getting the putbacks and easy baskets. Just get the ball inside, whether it's drive or throwing it into the post.
Cook dribbles into the corner. Pippen, nice pass to Bol, who thunders it home. Big to big and a 2-hand flush.
And I know it's a spin move and nice play by Pippen, but Keldon Johnson, you should be a good lockdown defender. The big man can't take you off the bounce on the perimeter and create backside help in a dump down.
Wholesale substitutions about to take place for Kentucky. Travis up top quickly. Nails the 3. Emmanuel quickly.
Can't say enough about the job Cook is doing for Southern Illinois. Tenon Gray, I mean, he has been hounded full court, has run this offense effectively, kept his patience.
Quickly takes it strong, and that'll be an offensive foul.
That's a good call.
Plowing over Aaron Cook. Charge is called. Saluki basketball, and we come back. Southern Illinois up by a point.
Can't have that defensive breakdown. Teak Bol back after 18 months with authority.
We'll have another full slate of college football right here on the SEC Network. Triple header, Missouri against Vanderbilt. Kentucky takes on Tennessee at 3:30. Mark Stoops and company try to bounce back after that tough loss at home to Georgia. And then the Saturday night matchup presented by Holiday Inn Express. That'll be Arkansas and LSU at 7:30. Mike Morgan alongside Dane Bradshaw. We are inside Rupp Arena. It is a 1-point lead for Southern Illinois. And I know this sounded like perhaps we were selling the fight, so to speak, Dane, but the fact of the matter is Southern Illinois, if you want to just schedule yourself an automatic win, you can do that as a basketball coach in a program like Kentucky. This is not an automatic. This is a team that knows how to win.
They're veteran-led. They're healthy. And I'm not surprised at all by seeing them play with the type of chemistry that Kentucky wants to be. Now, Kentucky obviously more talented, but here we are. I mean, out of a timeout, Coach Henson has drawn up terrific plays consistently. Sometimes they've been waved dead by a bad whistle or the shot hadn't been made, but he is drawing some things up. And it's discouraging to the team because for Kentucky, you're in the huddle saying, all right, guys, let's go, let's go. And then the first play out of the timeout is a breakdown.
Washington just lost it.
Well, Sean Lloyd, that's scouting report. P.J. Washington's favorite move is jab right, go left. And Lloyd was all over that.
Cook walked, pump faked on a three, but left his feet. You know, one of the reasons that Southern Illinois is such a dangerous draw is that man, Barry Hinson. You're talking about a guy who's been coaching for over 30 years. I love the story he told us. He was a longtime assistant at Kansas in between 2 head coaching stints in the Valley. But the guy that he considers his mentor, the legendary Hank Iba, still calls him Mr. Iba. And back when they had the Johnson misfires on a runner, back when they had the college work studies, he was out there in Stillwater doing anything he could as a job. Count the basket, a 3-point opportunity for Sean Lloyd. Southern Illinois taking it to Kentucky here in this second half.
Run in transition. Lloyd comes in, physical guy, absorbs contact. And this isn't a mid-major team that just is spread out with a ton of shooters all over the court.
Right.
I mean, they are beating Kentucky in an old-fashioned, grinded-out basketball.
They have size, they have bodies, and they are old, so to speak. 5 returning starters.
They're making Kentucky earn everything they can, just like Coach Henson over there, going back to your story, when he was janitor and watering fields and
had to do everything.
Changing the toilet paper out.
Scrub the floors, water the AstroTurf. Got chewed out by Jimmy Johnson when he was the football coach at Oklahoma State because Jimmy didn't think he did a good enough job watering the field. And he said, you know what, that's part of my journey and I wouldn't have it any other way. That's what I had to do to make it. And he has been very successful, and he believes, again, this is his best team at Southern Illinois.
Well, and a lot of the same things they run is what they implemented when he was coaching with Bill Self at Oral Roberts. So a lot of this same action is what Kentucky will see against Kansas.
Steal by Cook and another hoop and harm. Aaron Cook going full throttle and attacking the rim plus the foul.
Aaron Cook going up and down the court. He's going to take you in and out, get the and one on Hagans. But here's my thing. Look at the Salukis bench and then the Kentucky players. Coast to coast, and one. Cook coming into his own right in front of us at Rupp Arena.
Time for tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. It's provided by the Salukis.
Sean Lloyd, a Philadelphia Eagles fan, doing his best Alshon Jeffrey impression, going deep. Give him 6. On the other hand, P.J. Washington, they're trying to get him to focus on every possession, but he got burned on the stop and go.
One thing about that Duke game, in which obviously Kentucky got humbled a bit, you're talking about players that were probably never down 20 points in their life.
Yeah.
High school, AAU ball, no matter what the case. They were shell-shocked in that game, and that's sometimes it's going to happen to you when you're playing an elite team.
Right.
Now you have a couple days to recover. You take on what you know, and Coach Cal was very adamant with us in shoot-around today. This is a team that is very dangerous. But, Dane, right now they're simply outplaying Kentucky.
Well, and they aren't a team yet. Yes, they get along. Yes, they like each other. Yes, they care about one another. But they don't know how to translate onto the basketball court. I saw in practice yesterday, Keldon Johnson was struggling in a drill. And instead of the team on the sideline saying, come on, man, you got this, it was just quiet. They've got to learn to pick each other up. And after this last and one basket by Cook, I saw the Saluki bench jumping and cheering, of course, because it's a positive play. But what I need to see is Kentucky come together as a unit on the court, huddling up and talking about how they're going to fix the problem, as opposed to looking over at Coach Cal saying, what do you want me to do?
Right. And usually you wouldn't rely on a freshman to be that guy, but I agree. All indications are it's going to have to be Keldon Johnson this season.
It's got to be somebody that naturally comes to them. But other people got to get out of their comfort zone too. I don't buy the fact, oh, he's a quiet kid. Well, tough luck. We need you to talk.
That'll make some noise. Quade Green on a 3. Salukis had their largest lead of 7. It's down to 4. This is the guy who's killed them, and he draws a foul. Aaron Cook just slicing and dicing, coming off those ball screens, and Kentucky has had trouble handling them.
Well, Teague Bowl is able to set the ball screen so deep. I mean, it was inside the three-point line, and that makes it much tougher on the switch and the hedge and every other strategy you want to throw at the pick and roll.
Free throw is up and in for Aaron Cook, the 6'2 junior. First meeting between these two schools. Southern Illinois finishing second in the Valley last year, their highest since they made it to the NCAA tournament in 2007. Kentucky hoping to make it back to a Final Four. They've made 4 of them under Coach Calipari, hoping this team has what it takes. But still a learning curve here, but back-to-back threes will help matters. One by each guard, Green and then Quickly. Now a little full court pressure dialed up. Lloyd probes the baseline, throws it nowhere. Scooped up by Johnson. Ahead to Green. Green, mid-range jumper off the window and in. Timeout, Southern Illinois.
It all started on the defensive end, forcing a turnover, getting out and running. Kelvin Johnson, the kick ahead. Quade Green, all he knows how to do is get buckets. That's what started this run, his three-point shot, and a nice, sweet kiss off the glass.
8-2 run for the Wildcats. Changes the feel of this game in a hurry, 46-45.
But what was different about that possession? Southern Illinois ran the same exact play that Nick Richards got the foul and Cook got all the way to the basket and got to the free throw line. The difference was Kentucky forced Teague Bowl to set his screen so much further out that now you give yourself a chance defensively. And it's those little changes and attention to detail like that that can make an 8-2 run in your favor instead of a 2-8 run in the other team's favor.
Cook into front court, sets up the play. Kick out pass. Lloyd passed up the 3. Here's Bowl. A pull-up mid-range jumper. Don't know if that's really his game. Here's Quade. Racing into front court. Kick out pass. Quickly. Dishes for 3. No. Follow-up is there by E.J. Montgomery, the freshman from Fort Pierce, Florida. Kentucky back on top. Bartley back to Bowl on the return. Shot is blocked, out of bounds to Kentucky.
Kentucky finally getting some rhythm offensively. Not a coincidence, it's because of the defensive stops. And E.J. Montgomery had a couple putbacks in the Duke game. Back at it now.
Darian, thank you much. We welcome you back to Rupp Arena. Kentucky not rolling, at least not yet. They've had a heck of a challenge from Southern Illinois, but out rebounding the Salukis 35-13. Don't forget, coming up next, Auburn and Washington. That should be a great tilt. SEC, Pac-12. Auburn ranked number 11. A win there would certainly put them firmly inside the top 10. You look at the top of the SEC, Auburn, Tennessee, you just heard from, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Florida. We could go on and on and on.
Florida, the only one that really struggled out of the gates outside of Kentucky, but I think the most underrated of those teams is Vanderbilt that you mentioned. I mean, that freshman class they have, Darius Garland, Shimmy Shatu, Matt Ryan, a transfer. Look out for Bryce Drew's club.
Didn't even mention LSU. Another one of those teams that expecting a major resurgence this year in Will Wade's second season in Baton Rouge. 1-point game, under 12 minutes to go here in Lexington. Inside Pippen. Back out Cook. Great ball movement. Sets up an open three. Short. And into the hands of Travis. Quickly ahead to Green. Green to Montgomery. Great transition basketball by the Wildcats. McGill dribbles out of trouble.
Mike, really the first time all game that Southern Illinois has had to deal with the crowd and the momentum in Kentucky's favor. They don't give up on their game plan. Keep throwing it into Kavion Pippen. And last time Kentucky brought the double team to get out of his hands. That time they give him one-on-one to Reed Travis, and Pippen's just been going to work.
This might be a mid-major program, but Kavion Pippen could play in any conference in America. He is a skilled, tough, athletic big. Nice shot there by the freshman Emmanuel Quickley. 15 points now for Quickley.
Well, if you want to see some emotion and vocal leadership, Quickley starting to get into that. I mean, the thing these freshmen have to learn is don't just let that happen because you make a couple shots. Be consistent with it, whether you're playing good or bad.
Blow by and a beautiful reverse layup by McGill.
Another talented player that was injured last year out of Memphis, Tennessee. Bartlett Panthers.
Wade barking out for some help. Quickly will give it to him with 12 on the shot clock. Now back to Green. 8 to shoot. Inside Montgomery missed it, tapped up, and Travis is fouled on the tap in. No free throws upcoming for Kentucky in a 1-point game.
And I like the way they got the ball inside that time. Make the defense rotate, do it off a pick and roll scenario as opposed to just a stare down, dump it into the post.
The 5th foul on Armand Fletcher. So their leading scorer will have to exit stage left. And the Salukis will dial up Rudy Stratniks off the bench, the 6'9" senior.
I know Fletcher's disappointed in fouling out, but counted as a victory after that fall he took earlier in the game, that he's healthy enough to continue playing.
Travis got into early foul trouble in this game, but has been very active and on the floor for most of the second half.
Reed Travis, not surprisingly, with his type of work ethic, continues to get better every single year. You look back at his stats, 46% as a freshman free throw shooter, then 48% as a sophomore.
Right.
And he has worked on it to where got all the way up to 68% last year, to where now he has the confidence to step up there. But that is a hard mental challenge to overcome when you are that poor of a free throw shooter, and he's done it.
Richards checks back in for Kentucky. And some full court pressure dialed up by Big Blue. This guy, though, has been grace under pressure throughout the night, Aaron Cook. Cook surveys, tries to whip one to Pippen, who could not reel it in. All the way with a thunderous slam is Keldon Johnson. Largest lead for Kentucky. Stratniks back out to Aaron Cook. And a three launched. Off the mark from Bartley. And a foul called. They got Johnson. Keldon Johnson whistled for his first foul. He got tangled up with Pippen.
Coach Cal not happy, thinking Kavion Pippen pushed off of Richards to get that ball, but Pippen's just active. I mean, he just sticks with it.
It's like there's 3 of them out there. It's a 17 foul in Kentucky. That'll spell a 1-and-1 for Kavion Pippen. Nephew of Scottie Pippen, preseason second team All Missouri Valley. Did not look comfortable at the line.
And that could be a big miss. You got your leading scorer that fouled out. You follow that up with a turnover, follow it up with a missed 1-and-1. Before you know it now, Kentucky's got their largest lead of the game and all the momentum.
Give and go. Hagans to Richards. Richards lost it. Here comes Cook. Full throttle. High off the window and in. Aaron Cook has an extra gear. That is very underrated. He doesn't look speedy quick, and he just kind of lulls you to sleep, and then he puts it in fifth gear and blows by you.
Well, and they need some of those baskets. It can't just be dump it down to Kavion Pippen the whole game. And that's what I like to see. Yeah, I mean, Keldon Johnson in attack mode is Keldon Johnson in best mode, and when he runs that court in transition, watch out. Do not jump. Take us to break, Keldon Johnson.
He's got 16.
Yeah, Dari, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout this year. LSU is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I'm not comparing him to Zion Williams, but when you watch Naz Reid, you can't take your eyes off of him.
Yeah.
I mean, he jumps off the screen. 6'10", huge frame, out there on the perimeter. He's shooting threes. They play an exciting offense and style of play under Will Wade, but they don't forget about defense. I mean, those guys play hard and they get after you. And alongside Emmett Williams, and then you hadn't even mentioned Tremont Waters, arguably the best point guard in the whole SEC.
Certainly one of the most exciting, that's for sure. Kentucky's had to play hard to pull ahead in this second half against Southern Illinois, up by 5. The Salukis have come to play, make no doubt about that.
But Mike, you know, we were talking about the rest of the conference and those players. You know, last year was a year when you watched Kentucky play that you knew going into the year that there's going to be games where they don't have the best player on the court like they had in so many years. And well, I think they're plenty talented because of the way the SEC has continued to get better, and some of those people we named. There's going to be a lot of those nights now, and it's going to make it even more important that they gel as a team, because it's not a takeover situation, especially compared to the talent across the league.
Well, remember, they were a Sweet 16 team a year ago, but they went 10-8, and at one point they lost 4 in a row in conference play. That's less of an indictment on Kentucky and more of an indicator of just how good and deep this league is, and it's going to be perhaps even deeper this year with some of the teams, as you mentioned, that are expected to burst onto the scene like a Vanderbilt, like an LSU. Travis draws a double. Kick out pass quickly. Gave up an open 3. And took a tougher shot at contested 2.
I like the turn down. I didn't like the second option.
Under 7 minutes to play. Rocker step. Dribble drive. Kick. Great ball movement. Sets up an open 3. Too strong. Kentucky clears it, up by 6. Who's your go-to guy right here, Dane? Who should be touching the ball?
I would like it to be P.J. Washington, but he just hadn't solidified himself yet in this game to earn the touch. And
well, you called for it there.
5th turnover. I mean, it's just on a night like when he's playing Kansas State and he's on his A game, go to him every time. But right now, he's not the best option.
5 turnovers and just 3 points for P.J. Washington. That is not what you would expect out of a young man who's preseason All SEC. We might be talking about Keldon Johnson as the go-to guy in that spot as the year progresses.
But going back, I mean, P.J. Washington gets stripped down there. I don't look at this as you want him to have a better motor and all those things. P.J. Washington is going to play better against guys his size, and as the competition on the individual talent continues to get better. I think these smaller lineups and guys kind of at his feet swiping the ball, that makes him more uncomfortable. And you know, we've seen it already. I mean, we talked about that earlier. Grant Williams, the player of the year. He had fits trying to get around P.J. Washington.
Inside Pippen working on Richards. Looked like he got away with a walk.
Really nice job by Richards, staying solid.
Under 6 minutes to play and a 6-point lead for the Wildcats. Green got it to go, plus the foul.
Well, I mentioned earlier, the favorite part of his game is the 2-dribble pull-up. But I like it when he's in attack mode too. He puts that shoulder down, gets the and one. Quade Green. It was his 3-ball that started that 8-2 run that got the energy back into the crowd and got life into his team. As much as it is all about defense, especially with a young team, certainly helps to get the ball to go in a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know, just give you some encouragement, and Quade Green provided that.
3 the hard way for the sophomore Green. The lead is now 9, the largest for Kentucky. We'll see if Southern Illinois has another punch left in its bag. Shot clock at 7. Bartley lost it, and stepping on the baseline. Great hustle though by Nick Richards. It'll be Saluki basketball with 3 to shoot.
As the Salukis try to stay in this game, they have fought extremely hard, but it is not a surprise to Coach Cal and his staff. The past 48 hours has not been just practice on Kentucky. Let's just worry about ourselves. There has been great attention and great time commitment on the scout for this Southern Illinois team. So I don't think this has anything to do with Kentucky taking them lightly as much as it is the quality of the opponent and Kentucky trying to find themselves.
Desperation 3 from the corner as the shot clock was nearing 0. What a play by Aaron Cook. That is exactly what the Salukis needed to breathe a little life into their momentum. Green feeling it. Kicks off the iron and over the backboard. Aaron Cook, when in doubt, get it in the hands of number 10. McGill on Green. Back out to Cook, 7 to shoot. Cook says, I got it. Tough shot. And a rebound for Montgomery. Here's Johnson. One-on-one. Kick pass out to Quickly. And a wise reset for Kentucky.
We talked earlier about how Coach Cal said he might have to be the point guard. I think he's instructing his team like a point guard and then some. Richards
turns and fires. No. Rebound plus the foul for Montgomery.
E.J. Montgomery, when he gets that ball, when he crashes the glass with his athleticism in that left hand, it's over for you if he catches you on that side. Kentucky trying to pull away from a feisty Saluki team.
Dari, thank you. One of our former partners in crime, Tom Crean, trading in the TV makeup for some new outfits, I'm sure, on the sideline, back where he belongs, and that is as a head coach. I think he'll pay off some major dividends in Athens, a program that a lot of people believe is potentially a sleeping giant. I know he feels that way with all the talent nearby Atlanta.
I'm really interested to see how year 1 goes, because it's these types of teams that we think, okay, the roster's not very good, he's inheriting a rebuild, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, where'd that kid come from? Just a new life, a new system. He's got a few players on that team, but it's an uphill battle for sure with an SEC that's never been more competitive.
8-point lead. Southern Illinois trying to chip away, under 4 minutes to go. Open 3. A foul called on Richards, trying to battle through the screen set by Pippen. Those two have been locking horns all night long.
He's been using the forearm as best he can to get Pippen off the block and not allow such deep post position.
Kavion Pippen working on a 14.7 rebound night. By the way, should mention Nick Richards, the guy who was just whistled for the foul. He's got a new career high. 18 rebounds to go along with 8 points tonight and 3 block shots. Travis checks in for Kentucky. Montgomery will take a seat on the bench.
In practice yesterday, Coach Cal told Nick Richards, he said, look, when you get in the game, I'm telling you right now, we are giving you the ball 3 times in a row. You better be ready. And so his point was to make him aware, prepare him. It hadn't exactly worked out like that offensively where it was 3 straight dump downs. But I think Richards answered the challenges in terms of mentally being prepared to come in the game and fight.
By the way, Richards 1 rebound away for the most by a Kentucky player in the Coach Cal era. And I could give you 5 guesses. You would probably not guess who that man is. Corralled 19 rebounds.
19 boards.
I mean, you would think, what, Anthony Davis?
I'm going to go with Kid Gilchrist.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm going with an active wing.
Are you just that
Did
good?
I get it?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's
Somebody
bravo.
buy that man
Yes.
a drink. Dane Bradshaw.
Yeah. Well, I just thought, all right, who's a guy that has that constant motor, is going to fight the entire game? And
that is,
he was he started the Breakfast Club back in the day.
Yes.
For the Wildcats.
Label me impressed, Dane.
Awesome.
As if you can't impress
You
anymore.
had your own encyclopedia earlier. Mine was just a guess.
Well, yeah,
Not quite the encyclopedia.
I just did some research. You actually pulled out a winning guess there. Michael Kidd Gilchrist, 19 against Louisville back on December 31st, 2011. There's your water cooler fact of the day.
But, you know, here's the thing. You know, they've needed Richards tonight. And his previous career high was against Fort Wayne. So, not saying he has to get career numbers against the better competition, but it's got to be closer to something like this performance-wise. And watch out.
Green, Johnson. Keldon Johnson dropping the hammer on the dime from Quade Green.
He's a highlight reel waiting to happen. I didn't know if Quade was going to throw it off the glass, throw it up, but he just went with the traditional pass. Either way, you knew what finish was coming as soon as you saw who was running that 2-on-1 break.
Johnson, who had 23 points in that game against Duke, tied for the 5th most points for a Kentucky player in his debut game. He certainly showed up to play in that one.
And when Johnson dunks, he dunks hard.
Yes.
And there's a story Darius Miles had once on the Athletic, where Darius Miles was talking about advice he got from Sean Kemp, one of the most feared dunkers out there.
I'll say.
And he said, every time you dunk, try to tear the rim off. I don't care if anybody's there or not. But when they see you dunk like that, they'll start moving out of the way.
Yes.
And Keldon Johnson has that type of fear. Like, there's going to be times in the SEC when you see him going down the lane and guys start getting out of the way because they know how hard he's attacking that rim.
Been giving the rim a workout in the second half. 14 points on 5 of 9 shooting in 30 minutes of action so far. So a 10-point lead for Kentucky, the largest of the night for the Wildcats with 2:48 to go. Kentucky trying to pick up its first one of the year. Again, it's rare to see a Coach Cal team lose back-to-back games. We talked about that at the top of the show. They have gotten a battle tonight from a very veteran and dangerous Southern Illinois team. But Kentucky right now turning it on when they need it to most with a 10-point cushion. Cook around the screen from Pippen. Cook takes it all the way. He is a crafty player.
He knows how to get it up off the glass at the very last minute.
18 now for Aaron Cook. The lead is 8. So again, I ask the question, where's the ball going here?
it's hard to stay away from the post play, but I'd get it back to Keldon Johnson and let him make a play.
Johnson's on that left wing. Alley-oop pass. Richards off his pogo stick. Missed it. Washington pulls it down. And a fresh 30-second shot clock for Big Blue. There's Johnson. Takes it in. Richards has it blocked from behind by Pippen. And another offensive rebound for Richards as he continues to tack on to his new career high.
Johnson always in attack mode. The thing he's going to have to learn, every time I've watched him in a Kentucky uniform, he loves that right-hand drive to the paint. He's going to have to do the same thing with the left hand and go baseline when the defense starts getting the scouting report on him.
Johnson. And a late whistle, a foul on the Salukis. That'll be on Bartley. Johnson will go back to the free throw line. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Hotshot, Mr. Trivia Whiz. I mentioned Keldon Johnson, 23 points against Duke. That was the tie for the 5th highest point total by a Kentucky player in his debut. A couple of the guys that he tied you'll recognize. A couple of recent guys. Take a crack at. We'll get at least one.
It's 23 points.
23 points in their debut. Mike Casey, by the way, has the all-time mark of 28. That came in '67, a little before your time.
Yeah.
Don't expect you to get that one.
Okay. All right. Kevin Knox wasn't. Kevin Knox was not. He wasn't balling yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. He was early in the season. And Anthony Davis.
That's one.
Yeah. To go for a guard.
I don't want to hurt yourself there. It's Julius Randle's the other one.
Julius Randle.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have got it. Yeah, would not have got that one.
Davis, of course, the headliner on that last national championship team in 2012. Goal is always the same for Kentucky.
So, what have we seen positive from them tonight? I think the fight has been better. It wasn't perfect. I think they've stuck together as a team better. Here they are jogging down. I mean, they play with a little bit more passion. Obviously, they didn't take care of the basketball and were really sloppy. But to me, offensively, one of the things, I know the game plan was go down low, go down low, but I'm going to keep going back to Tyler Hero. I mean, it's hard not to get spoiled by what you saw in the Bahamas, knowing what a talented scorer and shooter he is. So how did they get him shots when it's not going to be so easy to just have one game plan of throw it down the post and we'll win?
Better days ahead for Hero, but 0 for 6, a goose egg tonight in 20 minutes. And I agree. I mean, that at some points they're going to need him to provide shooting. I thought a key stretch tonight was when Quade Green and Emmanuel Quickley each hit a pair of threes to kind of break open this game for Kentucky. And it's going to have to be some guys like that. They're going to have to be able to hit some perimeter shots.
Right, which leads to the next point of who's your point guard. Quickly got the start tonight, and him making some shots, even though that's not necessarily running the team, so to speak, it gives you confidence, and you're not so concerned about yourself, and you can help facilitate. So see if that can carry over to the next game with Quickly running the show at point.
Travis just muscles his way in and banks it home. Kentucky is going to hold on. Kentucky is going to win it. A hard-fought battle against a scrappy and dangerous Salukis squad.
Coach Henson did all he could tonight. He had his team prepared, well coached. Play calling out of timeouts. Just not enough as the Salukis started to wear down. Armand Fletcher fouling out. Teak Bowl still not 100%. And a nice win by the Kentucky Wildcats.
Career high 19 rebounds for Nick Richards. Keldon Johnson starred again for Big Blue, and the Wildcats survive at 71-59, your final score. Coming up, Washington and Auburn at the Auburn Arena. But first, let's send you to Dari Nowkhah back in our SEC Now studios.